Hiya, I hope you're keeping well. Vicky, you asked me the other day for a really quick and easy guide to simple makeup, something quick for getting back to the office. So that's what I'm going to do today. I hope you enjoy. As always, everything I've used is listed in the description. So if you click to make the video full screen, the title will come up along the top, click the arrow next to it and a full list of products will drop down. One thing I'm always really keen to emphasise is that I don't want you to feel like you've got to use exactly what I've used to achieve this finish. Just substitute whatever you've got in your makeup bag. And the key things I'm going to do today is really perfect my complexion and wear a really bright lip. So first of all, no prizes for guessing. I'm going to use the IT Cosmetics CC cream. In terms of something quick for the morning, I know I'm always talking about this, but it really is an ideal kind of throw it on and get out of the door solution. So this is the shade Light Medium, and this is great for me, say because I've got redness. Because it's a colour corrector, it's going to correct that redness as well as giving me everything that I'm looking for in terms of a traditional foundation. Now, if you do have kind of pigmentation, redness, whatever it might be, using a colour corrector can be really great to help to neutralise those areas of discoloration. And if that isn't your main concern, you know, even something like a tinted moisturiser can be lovely for the morning. Just something that doesn't leave any kind of harsh lines that you can really quickly throw on and then be out the door in no time. Now, personally, I don't tend to get too much discoloration around my eyes, so I'm just going to use whatever is left on the brush and go over the eyelid area as well. Now, as you can see, that goes on really fresh. I'm going to leave that to set for a minute because Mary, you'd asked me about a solution for an oily T-zone and I want to show you something else, but I need to set this for a minute before I go into it. So let's just say I was in a rush. The next thing I'd be thinking about is brows, and what I would say in terms of having quick brows in the morning, if you try and find a pencil that's about the width of your brows, nothing too thin and fiddly because you'll be there all morning. Sometimes a bit of a thicker brow wand is great to literally throw them on and get yourself out the door. Now, another thing that is really common, I find on myself anyway, when I'm rushing my makeup, it's usually my eyebrows that I kind of go so fast with and then ruin. Always keep in mind that the spoolie at the end of the pencil, which often like a lot of brow products have, if not most, is really good to just soften out anything that you've applied if it's gone on in a bit too much of a full shape. And if you haven't got one at the end of your brow pencil, the next time you finish a mascara, just take the wand out and give it a wash and leave it by your brushes, and you can use that to do the same thing. Now, before I do another thing, I'm going to address my T-zone because it's driving me mad. It's a bit of a shame sometimes, like it's a dull day here today, so I've got artificial lights on, but it makes this look a lot more shiny. Sometimes it's a bit frustrating to get across on the camera what something is really like. And one thing I'd also say to you is whenever you see something on anyone's video that you want to try, just pop to the counter and ask them to try it for you. Speaking as someone that worked on the shop floor of a beauty floor for many years, we love it. You know, you love nothing better than someone lovely coming up, having a chat, saying that they've seen something, asking for a few bits and pieces. So always go and have a try. But Mary, you had said to me, it's your 50th birthday this year. Happy 50th, Mary. And you've got an oily T-zone and you were looking for a solution. I think I've used this in a video before, but this is something that I have been experimenting with recently. It's the Mally Face Defender, and it's kind of like a clear putty. Now, if you don't want to powder and you want a solution for oil, this is really kind of a unique thing that I haven't really tried from anyone else. So you're going to kind of wriggle the sponge into this. And one thing I want to be really clear about, I know I've just said it about the T-zone, but I film my videos on an iPhone. I'm under artificial light. It's not like HD or anything. You never get a true picture of what something is like unless it's in person. And I know sometimes with these things that are there to kind of diffuse the T-zone, it can look like a really dramatic result, but there's only so much clarity I can get on my camera. But I can assure you, in terms of like daily use, you do still get a really great kind of velvety finish from this. But if I show you, I'm literally going to just pat this on top of makeup in certain areas. Now, one thing that has happened that we can have a look at is that it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Because you're using a sponge, you've got to remember that sponges are going to absorb. And so I have to be really careful. I've had this happen a couple of times. I've pressed too hard there and it's lifted off some of my coverage. So I'll go back and put that back in. But that is literally something that you can easily resolve if you use a bit less pressure. But this is a really nice way to take down that T-zone without using powder. I'm just going to take a tiny bit of this on the back of my hand. Really importantly, because I've lifted something off there, if I go in with this brush and now that it's got makeup on it, it's going to lift too much off. All I want to do with that tiny little dart is gently pat some of this back over that area of redness. And sometimes I think it's helpful to show these little mishaps, because this is the kind of thing that definitely happens when you're rushing. But also, I feel like that's possibly the most important part of the video, because we've all been there, haven't we? That can also happen if you're putting your bronzer on or a blusher or something, and you're, especially when you're rushing, you go in a bit of an overzealous way and the next thing a lot of it's off. So easily resolved and good to go. So at this point, I know I've been harping on, but in a normal timeline, you've probably spent about 1.5 minutes on your makeup. I'm now going to finish the steps in order of importance, and you can kind of see what you would need to do most depending on how much time you had. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is go in with mascara. Gemma, you'd asked me recently for a suggestion of mascara for watery eyes, and I'd really recommend looking for a mascara that uses tubing technology. This is the Clinique Lash Palette. It's one of my favourites. Tubing mascara removes in a slightly different way. So instead of, you know, like when you're washing your face and you have those black smudges from your mascara, tubing mascara crumbles away, and so in terms of through the day, there's nothing to spill or stain because the removal process is different. Cindy from the It Cosmetics America team calls it as like, it removes like black confetti. That's exactly it. So that will just remove with warm water. And then I know you're probably thinking, hang on a minute, I've got watery eyes and you're telling me to wear this thing that removes with water. I have watery eyes too. I'm the wateriest person. Like if I'm going to a special occasion, I've learned now I have to do my makeup on the upper part of my eye and not bother the bottom because they'll just run. It's not enough of a water to actually remove your mascara. So you get this perfect balance of having the formula that isn't going to remove and then no smudges. So that's what I'm going to use next. From here, you know, freshened up, the simple thing that is going to make this look like I've put loads more time and effort in is a fairly bold lipstick. When I say bold, I just mean, I don't want you to think of like a sheer lip gloss or a little wash of colour. I want you to get a nice bold liner and a nice full colour lipstick. I was talking to my sister last week all about, we've got these 2 cousins in Ireland that are really glam, always look $1 million. And I was saying that Leanne had said to me, like, the one thing that she does, this was years ago, she said, like, the one thing I do is I always just top up my lipstick when I'm out. And, like, that can be the simplest thing, but she always feels really put together. And we were out and I was like, as long as we just top up our lipstick, we'll be fine. So first of all, I'm going to use one of Jamie's Vieve lip liners. I need to show you, I've been using some of her lipsticks and lip liners as well. I mean, I think if you haven't tried anything from Vieve, by the way, Jamie Genevieve's makeup brand, because she was first and foremost a makeup artist, you can just see that like everything is so easy to use because she wants these like extra elevated results from them. The liners are absolutely beautiful. Now I've taken that all over, and while I'm in this area, I'm just going to use a touch more of that Face Defender, just kind of around the lips and mouth there. And then I'm going to follow up with one of the Lancome L'Absolu Rouge lipsticks. If you like that kind of vintage powdery smell to your lipsticks, you'll love these. And also this particular shade, I've got a Lancome lippy I've used in quite a few videos. It's years old and I think it's discontinued, and whenever I use it, there's nowhere that I can send you to for it. So this seems to be the closest match to that other one I always use. Super simple, it's brought everything together, and also I think it just shows as well, like, doesn't it look that extra bit more polished to kind of bring out the sharpness of the brows and the lashes? If you had like a bright lipstick like that at your desk, that's the kind of thing that 10 minutes before you're about to give a presentation, it's not bright enough to be distracting, but you just feel that extra bit put together. And then one last thing, if you've got time, I appreciate if it's 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm kind of pushing it here, but if you feel tired or dull in the skin and you just want to add a lift, I've been using Eldridge's Seamless Skin. Do you know something? Like, think of the amount of things I've shown you in these videos, and there's lots of things that I like and have liked over the years. This is one of the nicest highlighters I've ever used, and the reason is it is not glittery. You don't look like you've got shimmer or glitter all over the face. And so in particular, if you're wanting to just add a bit of luminosity to areas where you definitely don't want anything sitting in lines, for example around this eye area here, it is just a wash of radiance that looks like fresh, healthy skin. If I were to compare it to something, Charlotte Tilbury's Flawless Filter, another absolutely lovely product that I really rate. And like, people will often say, what's better out of this one and that one? It's not that one's better than the other. I think they're both great. But Flawless Filter also gives you a level of coverage, I would say, and it has that kind of radiance that, you know, lots of people wear that as their complexion product. Whereas Lisa's Seamless Skin is just healthy looking skin. There's enough of a tint to it that it melts into your complexion, but you wouldn't describe it as something that gives coverage. It just gives you a bit of a lift, and on a dull day, it's absolutely lovely. Oh, and then a really quick one. Mary, you'd asked me about the best pencil sharpener. I meant to show you this when I sharpened my lips, I'm so sorry. The Sweed pencil sharpener, if you're someone that likes liners, lipsticks, whatever, this is my favourite sharpener. If I just show you, not doing a very good demo of it, am I? I'm on the wrong side. It twists round, so you've got your part to sharpen. You can twist it back round so that none of those open sides are knocking around in your makeup bag, staining anything, getting anything grubby in there. It obviously holds the shavings, and so, you know, if you were out and about for the day and wanting to top up your makeup, it's a really brilliant one. Thanks so much for watching. That might be the longest ever guide to a quick and easy makeup, but I hope it was helpful. And thanks so much for sending the questions in. If you're watching this and you want to see something in particular, please feel free to let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Have a lovely day, and I'll chat to you soon.